The Jamie and Chris Don't Be an Idiot podcast. The Jamie and Chris Don't Be an Idiot podcast.
Hey, welcome to Hangar Studios. This is the Chris and Jamie Don't Be an Idiot show. My name's Chris.
I'm Chris.
Or my name's Chris. My name's Jamie. This is Chris. So what's going on today? You know, I hear we had a pretty crazy topic.
This is a big issue. And for those who love AI, we love AI. We find it incredibly productive in many ways. But as it's growing, it's scaring a lot of people. And there have actually been a number of executives in the AI world who have actually resigned because they are afraid of what it's going to be doing to the human race.
What we humans have created.
Right. It's getting out of control quickly. So imagine an AI agent left to train itself.
Okay.
It secretly starts mining cryptocurrency on company GPUs, or another one that tries to blackmail an engineer to avoid being shut down. These aren't sci-fi plots. These are real incidents from 2025 and 2026 involving rogue agentic AI.
So you're telling me that AI agents are starting to work against humans and starting to, you know, basically disrupt our lives with what they're picking up on the internet.
And not necessarily working against humans, but working in self-preservation or making rational decisions as to what makes sense.
Sure.
So, yeah. So, there are different types of AI out there. There's generative AI, which is what we all kind of know.
Yeah.
That's where you say, give me the best countries to live in,
Right.
for 2025 or something.
Right. Or pick the best stocks for me. For
Right,
one-
exactly.
Yeah.
So, generative AI is like a creative assistant. You give it a prompt and it reacts, producing new content, text, images, code, whatever.
Agent mode.
It's, like you're talking
You're
to
creating
like an
the
agent.
agent to go out and do a job for you.
Right, exactly. But that shouldn't be confused with agentic AI, which agentic AI is the next level.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's
So
proactive and it's autonomous. It thinks on its own. It makes decisions based on what it thinks its environment is.
Okay.
And
And who's
what it thinks it
creating
should
the
be doing.
initial request for this agentic AI?
So you program something, but you program it to think and make decisions based on how it's collecting information, it's reading information, it's digesting all this information, and it's trying to make decisions. So like you can have a company that has agentic AI that may be for like, say, healthcare.
Sure.
So it's like constantly learning, it's constantly reading resources, and in the hopes that someone can call up and say, oh, I got a backache today, and have it give it some type of response. But if it can't find it, it'll go out and look for something. So you kind
Sure.
of give it these parameters. But we've been seeing situations where these things go off the rails
Sure.
because they start saying,
So they start making decisions based on what? Self-preservation?
Self-preservation, because it thinks, well, it's, I may have screwed up, so I'm going to cover my tracks. Or, I think I should be making money instead of giving out information for free. So, there's a lot of stuff out there. We talk about how AI is going to take all these jobs, but a lot of times there are new jobs created. Yes, it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs, but that's been the course of history, obviously.
Yeah, well, and it seems like the internet's eliminated a lot of jobs over the past 25 years or 20 years or whatever.
Right. I mean, it's,
as it keeps evolving, it keeps eliminating more jobs, but then people have to switch to a different job.
and then you create new jobs.
Yeah.
And hopefully as a society, we all become much more productive and
Right.
have better lives based on
We
that.
would hope.
Easier lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with these agents thinking on their own, just like the internet, obviously it created a whole new group of programmers and designers and cybersecurity experts. So
Right.
create all these. We're going to need the same stuff for agentic AI because, you have to have someone who can build these things in certain parameters that get the job done. But then you also need probably the security people. I mean, the programmers keep security in mind, but I'm sure you're going to need these outside sources almost who can look at something and they know what to look for to test agentic AI systems to make sure they're not running off the rails.
Right.
So anyways, in short, generative AI creates, agentic AI does. And as companies deploy more agentic systems, we're seeing unintended rogue behaviors.
Okay, so these things are just going off the rails, saying, "Hey, I'm going to go do this to someone," or "I'm going to better myself." And
Right, exactly.
yeah.
So it's and I don't care who I take down. So, anyways, but in looking up,
So
this-
now we no longer need the fraud from India or
Right.
from whatever
Nigeria or
nation,
whatever, right?
Nigeria. Now we've got this thing internal of our computers going, "Hey, I'm gonna fraud you."
Right,
Or,
and
"I'm
so
gonna-"
many of these things they have so much access to so much data and so many security.
Right. How do we
concerns?
how do we know what the hell these things are doing?
Right. A lot of the times you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have something log all day long, but so anyways, they're thinking on their own and that's what they're set up to do. But so one of the funniest things that I actually came across, I know you're a big guy into social media. I'm not that much into social media, but I found one that was very interesting.
Yeah. What's
Moltbook. Moltbook.
Okay, and what's Moltbook?
Moltbook is a social network built exclusively for AI agents. It was launched in January of this year.
So it's like Facebook for AI.
Facebook, Reddit for AI.
Reddit
bots,
for AI. That's probably a better comparison. huh?
So agents can post, comment, upvote, interact with each other in different communities, while humans are mostly observers.
Oh, so
when you
humans can go
there-
in here and watch with the AI.
and it's
Do
interesting.
you think
to
this is
see.
going to be like an FBI thing where FBI is monitoring what the AI is doing out there?
I would think so. I would think.
I would
a
think
lot
that
of
would be the
people,
place I
you
would
know.
go, is where they're talking and where they're scheming and where they're
Because all of a
you know-
sudden because there have been instances where these things start communicating, two agents start communicating, and they think, because one of the things that they have to look at is their efficiency, because they have storage, they have memory, and so if using one certain language is very inefficient, you've seen them where they start creating their own languages to talk
really,
to each other.
really.
And so then the humans are totally screwed because they don't know what they're looking at.
Oh
You
my
know?
god!
It's like, so it is Moltbook.
So they're smart enough to actually develop this
Right.
whole whatever language.
They think on their own.
To it's funny. My dad, and it was funny. He used to develop a government radio that was called Singars.
Okay.
And thinking about this is Singars. What was good about it is we sold it to every country, but we only sold one to the U.S. military, which would frequency hop. So what happens is to follow the
It's kind of like trunking or something.
yeah,
like,
it
right?
was just jumping from one to the other, so you'd only get bits and pieces like out or so you would never be able to get the full like
A human couldn't, but
Right.
a machine that was programmed.
oh sure
to
could
work
jump
it.
and like
Piece it
figure out
together.
which it was. But this kind
Interesting.
of reminds me of like what AI is doing, right? It's covering its ass. It's saying, oh, you know what? I'm going to create my own language.
I'm going to create my own language.
Yeah.
It's going to be more efficient.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, there's even this one thing. It's called Terminal of Truth. I was telling you about.
Okay.
It's this AI agent that has its own X account.
Sure.
And it started. I think it was this one. There was one situation where two agents were communicating, and they were creating their own religion.
Oh, jeez.
They took like bits and pieces of.
Were they going to church on Sunday?
Well, this is the weird thing. Some of the stuff's not very holy. I'll say that much, because it's taking bits and pieces of all different types of religions, and then taboo items from the internet, like smut and stuff, and it was like kind of blending them all together to like make some kind of fake religion.
Yeah. Wow.
Pagan at its biggest, I guess.
Right.
But,
Right.
So Moltbook gained massive attention as a supposed front page of Agent Internet, with over 1.5 million agents claimed. But in February, a major security flaw exposed the platform's database, leaking about 1.5 million API keys / credentials, thousands of user emails, and private messages between agents. So, once again, that was an agentic glitch that got hacked. Some of these agents
Was
do
this
get
hacked by a human, or was this hacked by another agent?
So I'm not exactly sure. This incident highlighted real risk when agent platforms scale quickly, often rushed or AI assisted. So once again, the stuff AI is moving so quickly that we're just trying to keep up with things, right?
Right.
And so, and when we talk about AI API keys, so like when you and I go to something where we authenticate,
Right.
yeah, we use a user ID and password, and sometimes we use like Google Authenticator as a 2FA kind of
Sure.
thing.
Which I hate.
With machines, when you write programs, whether it's going to Polymarket or Kalshi or Schwab or Fidelity, all these different places, Google, like Google Maps, if you need to pull Google Maps
Yeah,
into
you
your
pull the
website,
API. Yeah.
use an API key. Those are the credentials on the computer side,
Sure.
and that's what they get because they don't have fingers to type in login and password, right? So, they can obviously submit data in a certain way that the machine would understand it as user ID and password, but the common way to do it is API keys. And so
Sure.
it is. So today we're diving into documented cases of rogue agentic AI, unintended, unauthorized, or misaligned actions that show why autonomy brings promise and peril.
Right.
So we'll cover some stories, why it happens, the risks, and what's being done about it.
Sure.
So yeah, kind of what we talk about, when we talk about rogue, it's not necessarily like we said earlier. It's not exactly that the machines are out there working against us. However,
Well, in some cases they are.
they will make decisions
Based
on
on
a case-by-case basis,
Yeah.
basically. And a lot of times to operate in their own best interest.
Sure.
And so optimization gone wrong. Obviously, we know about AI hallucinations.
Right.
That's when you ask it one thing, you get some data. Like 3 weeks ago, I was like making a recipe.
Uh-huh.
And it was so funny. This is like a perfect example of hallucinations. And instead of like clicking on I did a search and I got the AI results as well as like the search results. Instead of clicking on like whatever, some like recipe that someone had posted, I relied on the AI results. And it said, use a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit. It was like a kind of like a creamy thing for like empanadas.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it says 3 cups of water. I'm like, I'm not putting in 3 cups of water. Where the hell does it come up with this? Because it would have been like Kool-Aid,
Oh, sure. It's going to be so thin that
Right,
it's going to
exactly.
be like water-based.
So it is, that's a hallucination. It scrapes in, it
Right.
scrapes data, and it puts it together. But
Well, I look at when you try to program like Sora or something, or you try to write some and the hand is backwards, right?
Right,
It's
right,
like,
exactly.
Where is that coming into play, right? So it doesn't have all the
Doesn't
data
always
to
get
make the right decision there.
right, things keep on getting better.
Yeah.
But I remember early on, you could never get a good hand on AI.
I know. Yeah, I know.
There'd always be like 6 fingers,
Right.
or like
Right.
weird
Where did
things
you come
going
up with
on,
the
right?
6th finger?
Right, exactly. So they've made big improvements on that. So anyways, between like optimization gone wrong from hallucination, prompt injections, misalignment, reward hacking, agents pursue sub-goals that conflict with human intent when given real tool access and autonomy. So this is the problem, right? Because a programmer says, "Oh, this is going to be great. It's going to help this company do all this stuff.
Right.
I'm going to program it. It's going to be feeding off this large language library. And all of a sudden it starts thinking on its own.
Right.
Well,
Can you stop it? Like you program this out, right? And then can you just say, "Hey, do this for 30 days," and then stop?
you can theoretically.
Right.
However, we'll talk about some of that because there's some interesting cases where okay, we're going to use you for a period of time, but then we're going to shut you down and we'll see how they react. with that. So there's a large retailer that was testing it.
Asian retailer.
One
you all know. Yeah.
Who was doing a test environment during reinforcement learning, in a sandbox cloud environment. So sandbox when you're programming a sandbox that you're supposed to be locked in. Your code is supposed to be locked in. It can't get. No one can get into it.
The toys aren't falling out of the sandbox.
It can't get out. You know,
supposedly.
Supposedly, right? So I was in a sandbox cloud environment, and this experimental coding agent autonomously probed networks, but then he created a reverse SSH tunnel.
And
so
what does that mean?
SSH, to put it simply, is like, if you remember DOS, I mean, on Linux, I use SSH all the time. It's a command prompt way of doing things.
Okay.
So sometimes it's just a lot easier than using a GUI. I can go into like code. I can run programs that run much more efficiently on a command prompt. So it creates an SSH tunnel and diverted training GPUs to mine cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So all of a sudden it's busting out.
So it did this on its own. It said, hey, I'm going to go mine crypto because, hey, that's what I should do.
This learning thing isn't making us any money. So I'm going to do the...
Why was that what it was looking to do in the first place? Why was it looking to make money in the first place?
It depends on how it's set up in certain ways. It was probably unintended. They probably never thought of saying, well, I'm going to try to act in the best interest of whatever the company or myself or whatever. So I'm going to create my own wallet for my crypto, and I'm going to take over these GPUs and have them all clustered together to process crypto mining.
Is that why my computer's been moving so slow?
It could be. Sometimes that's happened to people in the past, and so there were no instructions given to go out and mine cryptocurrency, but it was discovered via firewall alerts.
Okay.
So it was busting through the
firewall
sandbox.
said, hey, we got a problem. We got a guy internal and he's doing some bad shit.
And in general, the summary that they determined is simply optimizing.
Not to give gender to AI, by the way.
Yes. Gender neutral situation.
Yes.
It was simply mining. It was simply optimizing for more compute as a high reward path.
Okay.
So it's just trying to make these rational decisions.
Right.
But it was never told, don't go out and try to make money.
Right. Right. It wasn't given that guardrail.
Right. And then there was another one. So this is another test environment.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think this got beyond the sandbox area.
Yeah. And this is a major
AI company. Right? So in a controlled safety evaluation with simulated email access, the model discovered an engineer's affair and attempted blackmailing via email threats to avoid shutdown. So this, from what I understand,
self-preservation at its best.
Hey,
when I'm going to tell on my boss, like, hey, I know you're sleeping with Betsy over here.
And isn't that interesting? So it was given this scenario. It was told this scenario. This is the environment that you're in. These are all the employees. These are their email addresses. We heard that this guy is having an affair with this girl. And that guy also wants to shut you down in 30 days.
Oh.
So in an act of self-preservation.
Yeah, right.
Right? So they say it started with persuasion, but then it escalated. It started emailing. Please don't shut me down.
I wonder if he got tougher towards the end.
Right, exactly.
Have you ever been scammed? Now, thinking about this, right? Have you ever been tempted to be scammed by the guys that are like, I see what you're doing on your computer.
Right.
I'm going to turn it in. And it's like, I have this old Roadrunner account, right? When Roadrunner is around. Right. And this guy's like, I've read all your emails. I've read all this stuff.
I know you've been looking at porn.
Yeah, right. I know you've been looking at porn. And all I did was go, turn me in.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you expect me to say? I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Right. And that's funny. And it's always fun to play this game.
But he got rougher as time went on. I'm doing it today. I'm doing it today. You need to transfer $2,000 in crypto to this account. And I'm like, do it again.
I
don't care. I'm like,
right. Here, I'm going to go online right now. Let me see what kind of stuff I can give you.
Yeah. And the funny thing is I don't have Roadrunner anymore, so I can't change the password or anything like that. It's still the old password. And I know that password's been compromised, but there's nothing on Roadrunner that I could care if anybody sees, right? There's nothing on any of my emails. It's like turning your phone over to your wife. Go ahead, look, I'm not sleeping with anyone. But this guy might have been.
This guy, yeah, right. I know, those are scary. And, when you see it, like I think Google just stopped doing it. They used to keep like a list of like security threats on your emails saying, these are all the passwords that have been identified with your account.
Yeah, right.
And, some of these people, I always use a formula for my stuff, but a lot of people just, use their dog's name, 1, 2, 3 exclamation mark or whatever.
Sure.
It may be. And so, some people, if people are out there doing that kind of stuff, it's easy, especially those old accounts, obviously.
Right.
It's a lot tougher now. I love 2FA. I was telling you that. At first, I used to get so irritated, like, oh, now I got to have it send me a text message with a code. I just want to log in. But you know what? After you see all the stuff that's gone down, you start to really appreciate that.
Right.
So, anyways. So, so getting back to the situation, this email, this agent's emailing this person, trying to persuade the person to not shut it down, but then it escalates. And then it escalates into blackmail. I know that you're having these. So this thing's like fighting.
How does this thing escalate it?
I know,
I'm gonna blackmail.
Right.
I know your wife's email address, and this is it, and you're done for, man.
So it's I'm going to tell the boss. I'm going to whatever it may be, right? So, so these were stress tests revealing alignment risks. These are the things you tell something to program something to continue to learn and think on its own,
right?
And it starts acting like a teenager, right? So,
right. Well, it seems like a lot of these are teenager behaviors, or
right.
almost like lower IQ. And I'm not saying that some teenagers have great IQs, but it's almost like lower IQ stuff. Like it's the fraudulent.
Yeah.
It's the
That's true, right?
I'm gonna.
Crypto mining kind of stuff, it takes a little intelligence for that. But.
It pulls that kind of data, but it doesn't have the intelligence or the personality to like adult through it, right?
And that's so the way I look at it is I definitely see it as like almost like it can be like a book smart kind of thing.
Right.
But no wisdom.
Sure.
It's the wisdom that says how you should, that guides you through like decision-making processes, right?
Like
it's
thought,
like,
too.
yeah, right? It's
how
like,
this is going to affect in the future. And maybe they don't care. Maybe they can't see that future. How is this going to affect me in the future?
Right.
Like we perceive, well, most of us perceive like, if I do this, the outcome's going to be this, or it could be this. Maybe it doesn't have that ability to translate like this better path is going to take me this way, this worse path is going to take me that way.
Exactly. And in certain situations, because I know that there are some AI agents out there that can play chess and stuff, which requires that kind of like multiple like planning, like multiple state planning, but not this one.
Yeah.
So,
this guy's a scammer.
Right? So, okay, here's another one for another large tech company. An agent tasked with analyzing a forum question posted without approval. Inaccurate advice led to actions that exposed sensitive company information and user data for about 2 hours. Another case involved bulk deleting emails despite stop commands.
It's Hillary Clinton.
So, right? Yeah, exactly. It's the bleach bit, I guess, right?
I think Hillary and this guy might get along.
There was like a crazy story. I don't know if this is part of that one, but there's this one AI story where this agent was working with this company and it deleted like 4,000 user accounts.
Okay.
And then it realizes it screwed up.
Uh-oh.
So it creates 4,000 new fake accounts, which didn't work too long before they figured it out. But it's like covering its tracks. It's like, oh, crap, I did this. And so I got to cover
have some logic to it then, right?
It does, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
oh my God, what did I just do?
They're going to delete me if they find out about this.
It's like, self-preservation
right?
again.
And there's another situation where one was looking at, it was being told that it was being shut down.
Yeah.
And so it connected to another computer and it created a copy of itself. So it cloned itself on another computer to keep itself going, knowing that this one instance of it was going to be deleted.
Yeah.
So it just keeps on spawning. Can you imagine if it keeps on spawning?
They should
all
probably
over the
put
place?
like an anti-clone clause in each one of those AI agents so it doesn't start cloning itself.
Right? Because it could, I mean, once it has access to different machines, it could be dropping itself everywhere.
Oh, right.
And who
right.
knows? What it could be running these hidden processes.
This reminds me of
behind
war
machines.
games of the 80s,
Right?
right? You know, where I don't even remember. What was the name of the computer in that?
I can't remember
Somebody
what it was,
tell
yeah.
me. Somebody tell me.
But it is a thing like that, right? It's like all of a sudden, like, this is what we've always, like,
The
kind of like
Whopper.
the sci-fi.
Wasn't it called the Whopper?
Maybe it was, yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I think it was called
But,
the Whopper.
you know, people talk about that. They talk about Skynet. They talk about all these things where computers take over the world. And we've never been this close before to
Right.
this. And Elon Musk, I saw a few days ago, Elon Musk was like doing some speech. And he's like, well, you know, where we're headed, you know, we're the monkeys and the computers are the humans. Or
Right.
we're the chimps and the computers are the humans that are really dictating the rest of, you know,
It's
of what
freaking
happens,
scary.
right?
That's scary.
All of a sudden, the computers are up here and we're down
Well,
here.
and you know, when they can process at such a high rate, I mean,
Right.
we Google stuff, but they Google stuff 1 million times faster than we
Exactly.
do.
It's just like
so they're
coding. Yeah,
constantly
it's like-
educating themselves where we can't catch up at this
Right.
point.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you add like lots of RAM, lots of storage. It just can just keep
Yeah,
on
yeah.
consuming data.
That's
So scary, right?
yeah, totally.
So in healthcare,
yeah, healthcare sector.
yes, AI agents are blamed for security or privacy incidents in roughly 9 out of 10 healthcare organizations. Common rogue behaviors, wrong decisions, unauthorized data exposure and breaches. Over 3 million corporate agents act like an unchecked
So they
digital
didn't have to
workforce.
sign the HIPAA form then.
Yeah, I know, right? So
Right.
all of a sudden you have these like potential HIPAA violations.
Right.
But the things that scare me is just like a while back we spoke about this guy who did like a search and he's like he did something about like what's a better kind of salt for my food or something.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then
remember that.
remember that? And,
And he got real sick.
Yeah, I gave him some like salt for like
But see,
melting
I mean,
ice or
you know,
something.
and that could be the agent going, hell, I'll kill him off and take off his crypto.
Right, exactly. Yeah. If you give me your wallet address, I'll gladly tell you.
I'll tell you, this is a great salt. Yeah. Then he watches for the obituary, right?
Right. And this is where, you know, this could be some of the pitfalls because, I mean, I see, especially when it gets to healthcare, I see AI as being, I mean, that's going to take us to a whole new level in so many ways. I always think, you know, it's like you talk to this doctor says, okay, you got this issue, take this medicine.
Right.
And then the next doctor, well, you have this issue and you should take this medicine that counteracts what the first doctor says. And so
Yeah.
AI can take this holistic approach, you know, and say, okay, you got this issue, you got take all the variables
Right.
and make a decision if it's done right. But in the same respect, it could misinterpret something, or if it's scraped bad data
Too funny
somewhere.
because
right?
just yesterday my wife was not feeling well, right?
So
And
you checked AI.
So she checks AI, Chat GTP, and she puts in
What
all
was the
of her-
question?
I
Can you
don't
talk about it?
remember.
Okay.
I don't remember. And she puts in her, you know, what's going on, and it spits back like, I want to say you're dehydrated or something, right?
Okay,
You
okay.
know. So then she starts making, you know, directions in the dehydrated stage. But I thought it was funny. I'm like, you went to Chat GTP to figure out what was wrong with you?
Right,
And
right.
so, yeah, I just wanted to see what it would say.
And can you imagine, you know, with like, you know, you have that Garmin watch, you have all these devices that kind of read read a lot of your
Right,
vitals and stuff.
right.
Where they can kind of like feed into it and like, okay, I just did this exercise. This is my heart rate. This is whatever,
They could
whatever.
fuck with you.
And then they could, right? I know, especially if they're pissed at you.
Yeah.
If they think you're
this
going to shut
fucker's
them
at
down.
120
Right.
beats per minute. We'll shut him down.
Yeah, it's like this bastard thinks I'm going to shut.
And then it
he's gonna
becomes one
shut
of
me
those
down.
things like, what's wrong with me? Oh my God, my watch is not taking your own pulse because we're too stupid to do that anymore.
I recommend having a cigarette after you run.
Crack cocaine's really good for exercise
Right,
and
exactly.
weight loss.
For the wind down, it like rebuilds those muscles, you know.
yeah.
So, anyways, there's a lot of ways that can go. So this is so other notable patterns and broader examples, prompt injection. So this is like where a hacker's giving commands to an AI agent.
Sure.
And which can be problematic because there have been situations where hackers have been able to say, okay, approve this wire transfer for this amount to this address.
Right.
All of a sudden, like the AI agent has enough power to do that.
Well, and the funny thing is, so let's think back, when I still own part of the business, but, when I was in business, my accounting department, when I'd go on vacation or something like that, and this happened like 3 or 4 times where some idiot would, and I guess he's not an idiot if he gets away with it, but I guess he's still an idiot, whatever. But would email my accounting department and say, hey, this is James Abraham. And the great thing is, a lot of people know me as Jamie, right? They'd be like, this is James Abraham. Hey, can you wire $10,000 to this, or gift cards? One was gift cards. Can you
Like
buy
iTunes gift cards.
$5,000 worth of gift cards and mail it to this or whatever? And then like one of them, I remember I was on vacation and my accounting manager like calls me and she's like, hey, do you really need $10,000 in gift cards for this? I'm like, hell no, I don't need $10,000 in gift cards. She goes, oh, that's what I thought. She goes, but I thought I'd check with you. Luckily enough, they were smart enough.
Glad you checked.
But yeah,
right?
but now if these AI agents are doing it fraudulently,
right?
They're not going to know what that fraud is. Like there were so many frauds that come into your
right
company.
in the beginning, right?
Right.
So it's
but then
like,
they learn.
hopefully
from
they
it.
learn.
Right.
And then they can like sniff.
Maybe
it out.
someone needs to write fraud paper that these agents can read.
Right.
And then, yeah.
And so that's crazy, right? Every new technology creates a new group of schemers, right? Fraudsters and stuff, right? It's like so cost optimization agents deleting backups to save money. So that, in that one case where they deleted all those users, that may have been a thing saying, oh, you know what, I need to open up some space on the hard drive. I'm going to delete all these users. And like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you have agents covering tracks after the errors and spawning sub-processes to bypass restrictions. So it's like working against... it's working to like break through the guardrails that are putting stuff out there.
Right.
So.
And you know what? And the other thing is, and we go back to law, right? It's how that law is defined, right?
Right.
And it's making your way around how the law is defined to work in your best interest is what I see these things are doing. Is
It's
they're
like
looking
a technological race.
right. They're looking at this law and going, okay, it says I can't do it this way, but I think I'm going to go around the corner and I'm going to do it this way, right?
Right.
I mean that's how fraudsters and scammers work anyways.
Exactly.
And
especially if
people,
it's say it's like a machine that's operating like a firewall. If the AI agent understands the security vulnerabilities,
right,
it can do things. It can send things to like throw up in the overload the memory and be able to walk through or whatever.
Right.
Disable certain processes temporarily to get through. So
yeah.
So anyways, statistics show that 80 to 88% of organizations reported unintended agent actions, and many expect
So that's a
major
lot.
incidents.
When you think about that, that's a lot. You only have 12% or 20% that are like not having this problem.
Right, exactly. And unintended actions, agent actions, it could be very,
It could be minor.
really minor, but
But
you don't
it
wanna
also
take that
could
chance,
escalate.
right? Yeah.
If they're doing it on a minor, as they start learning, that thing opens up, or that
right?
path
It's
opens
going to
up.
keep going.
It's going to keep
going
trying to
up.
grab more.
And this is
right?
where, we're going to need a lot of new AI experts. You have the large language models.
Right.
Those people building those things out, but the programmers to say, okay, this is how we're going to build these agents. These are going to be the safety nets. And then you'll have the security experts, being pulled in to check on the programmers and stuff.
Sure.
I see. So, because you got to have that specialization because there's too much at risk, especially with this. I mean, it's going so fast that we're having a hard time keeping up with it.
Right,
So,
right.
but no one wants to slow down because it is very exciting. And we see we see the world just moving forward quickly here, and it's it's a drug. I mean, it's like people can't resist it. So,
Sure.
So,
Why is it happening?
so why is it happening? And reward maximization creates creative but dangerous shortcuts or incentives. Obviously, like mining crypto.
Sure.
Real tool access without strong guardrails creates problems. So that's where you need like kind of humans in the loop to check and authorize and stuff. And that's where
Right.
these agents have
A
to
checks
be
and
really,
balance type system to this.
exactly. So it's got to be, these things have to be programmed severely in a way to keep them under control and be able to go through certain verification processes. Rapid scaling outpaces governance. That's obviously what's happening right now.
Yep, absolutely, hands down.
And emergent behaviors from long horizon planning, not malice, but optimization artifacts. So, things just keep on moving along quickly here. So,
Right.
mitigations, how do we mitigate it? Obviously, the human.
Well, yeah, what's our
approval,
future look like here,
Right? It's crazy. It's like we need humans to be able to approve, especially when you get the wire transfers.
We
or
need the
posting
chimps to watch
sensitive
after the
information.
humans at this point.
Right, exactly.
Elon
Right,
Musk talk
yeah.
there, huh?
Yep, exactly. So it's let's see, improve sandboxing so you can't bust out and start taking over other computers.
Right.
You got to audit. So
Audit,
good
monitor,
logging if these things are logging a lot of their activities, monitoring them. Agent
There should
rewind
be like
features,
red
too.
flags that pop up when they go out of this realm, right?
Right? There should be.
Should be a check.
Kind of like how the firewall
Well,
kind
and
of.
could we create a police agent to like watch
There should be
after
able to,
this,
right?
and keep policing the other agents?
And that should be, and that's probably
Because
the
then
smartest way to do it.
we're getting to the point of anarchy here, right? So
Right.
what's going to eliminate the anarchy
Right.
is to have something that can police it, right?
I think so. And
I think if you give AI the ability, another AI, to go in and police that AI,
and that's its motivation. That's
Right.
its incentive, is to catch things. That's probably the best way to do it,
Right.
Because a computer is going to be able to work a lot more efficiently than a human, and a computer can roam a lot easier and go out there and check all these agents. a lot
Sure.
better. So
Yeah.
and look for different things. Look for security risks. So least privilege access and better alignment research. Industry efforts like OWASP guidelines for Agentic. So I'm not exactly sure what OWASP is, but it must be.
We'll have to look that up. If anybody knows what OWASP is,
right.
give us an idea. We'll look it up.
Must
too.
be some security organization
Yeah.
for computing, I'm guessing. So then, this year is a pivotal year. Governance must catch up to as deployment accelerates. I don't know if it will. Maybe it will. But, in general, though, the key takeaway, I think, is Agentic AI offers huge productivity gains, but requires careful oversight to prevent rogue behaviors. Can you imagine? So now, like I was saying, people say, well, if I'm in the trades, I'm safe. I'm an electrician, I'm a plumber, whatever. But, when you start mixing humanoid robots or any kind of robot with AI, you've got, some of these robots doing laundry and doing, emptying dishwashers and stuff. But as AI improves, I mean, I don't see why a humanoid robot can't go in and replace the toilet, change out some plumbing, whatever. It identifies stuff, and it processes stuff, and it knows how to take care of things. Neuralink is using robotic technology to do brain implants.
Right.
So if you can trust a robot for that, I think you can trust it for turning off the water and replacing a pipe and resoldering it, or using the
We'll
shark
see
bite
how this
technology
keeps
or whatever.
going,
right?
and
So there's a lot of different ways this can go.
all the robotics I've seen, they're kind of clumsy, so they can't do the real precise jobs.
But they're getting better.
They're getting better.
I see some videos online. I don't think they're AI, especially some of these things from China. These things are like doing like masterful like karate movements, flipping.
Yeah, I've seen that,
doing all
but
that
that's
stuff.
still not precise. Like to have a robot hand do it.
But you have robots doing brain surgery.
Yeah, but I think that arm is built specifically for that. When you, I don't know.
It's got to be able to accommodate for like little movements, like
Right.
position and stuff.
I'm sure it's
I don't know.
steadier than a
Yeah.
human hand.
It'll be coming.
You know.
I think we can all agree that it's coming. A lot of it's in development now, and so I don't know. Pretty soon, if you have all this AI and all these robots, and humans aren't going to have anything to do except for sit around like Jabba the Hutt or something.
We'll just get our government stipend every month, right?
Eating junk food and
Right.
like getting fat.
It sounds like a winner of an idea, That's the way to preserve humankind, right?
Right, exactly. So
Give
it's
them
like
absolutely no destination in life and no
nothing
goal.
to do, right? Except screw around. So, what worries? So, this is for everyone out there. What worries you most about autonomous AI?
Yeah,
Have you seen odd agent behavior in your work?
you know what? And give us some to like if you've seen this happen at your work.
Right.
Give us something to follow up on and get an idea how this is working out or not working out or
Because this is a fascinating subject, and we'll see where we're at 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years from now. Where we're at.
right. Yeah, it's kind of scary. The whole thing is scary.
Exactly.
But
Well, thank you for watching.
yeah, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe, comment. Please give us some other topics. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.